Forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a permanent attitude. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. The principle of self-defense, even involving weapons and bloodshed, has never been condemned, even by Gandhi. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. Power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men. There is no gain without struggle. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. Seeing is not always believing. Everybody can be great, because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. If you lose hope, somehow you lose the vitality that keeps moving, you lose that courage to be, that quality that helps you go on in spite of it all. You know, a lot of people don't love themselves. And they go through life with deep and haunting emotional conflicts. So the length of life means that you must love yourself. And you know what loving yourself also means? It means that you've got to accept yourself. I know that love is ultimately the only answer to mankind's problems. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There can be no deep disappointment where there is not deep love. Hatred paralyzes life, love releases it. Hatred confuses life, love harmonizes it. Hatred darkens life, love illuminates it. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. We must build dikes of courage to hold back the flood of fear. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Courage is an inner resolution to go forward despite obstacles. A man who won't die for something is not fit to live. Courage is the power of the mind to overcome fear. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism, or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. When you are right, you cannot be too radical. When you are wrong, you cannot be too conservative. Everything that we see is a shadow cast by that which we do not see. You will change your mind, you will change your looks, you will change your smile, laugh, and ways, but no matter what you change, you will always be you. The difference between a dreamer and a visionary is that a dreamer has his eyes closed, and a visionary has his eyes open. We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things, in a great way. Almost always, the creative dedicated minority has made the world better. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. The beauty of genuine brotherhood and peace is more precious than diamonds, or silver, or gold. Whatever affects one directly, affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be, until you are what you ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. Be a bush, if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win, or fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. We have flown the air like birds, and swum the sea like fishes, but have yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth like brothers. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. No one really knows why they are alive until they know what they'd die for. It does not matter how long you live, but how well you do it. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. We must walk on in the days ahead, with an audacious faith in the future. One day we will learn that the heart can never be totally right when the head is totally wrong. We are not makers of history. We are made by history. You can kill the dreamer, but you can't kill the dream. Only in the darkness you can see the stars. Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The time is always right to do what is right. Martin Luther King Jr., born Michael King Jr., was born on January 15, 1929. He was an American Baptist minister and activist, one of the most prominent leaders in the civil rights movement, from 1955 until his assassination in 1968. An African American church leader, and a son of early civil rights activist and minister, Martin Luther King Sr., King advanced civil rights for people of color in the United States through nonviolence and civil disobedience. Inspired by his Christian beliefs and the nonviolent activism of Mahatma Gandhi, he led targeted, nonviolent resistance against Jim Crow laws and other forms of discrimination. King participated in and led marches for the right to vote, desegregation, labor rights, and other civil rights. He oversaw the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott, and later became the first president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. King was awarded at least 50 honorary degrees from colleges and universities. On October 14, 1964, King became the youngest winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, which was awarded to him for leading nonviolent resistance to racial prejudice in the U.S. and for combating racial inequality through nonviolent resistance. In 1965, he was awarded the American Liberties Medallion by the American Jewish Committee for his exceptional advancement of the principles of human liberty. In his acceptance remarks, King said, "Freedom is one thing. You have it all, or you are not free." On August 28, 1963, King delivered a 17-minute speech, later known as, "I Have a Dream." In the speech's most famous passage, in which he departed from his prepared text, possibly at the prompting of Mahalia Jackson, who shouted behind him, "Tell them about the dream." "I have a dream," came to be regarded as one of the finest speeches in the history of American oratory. King was fatally shot by James Earl Ray at 6:01 p.m. Thursday, April 4, 1968, as he stood on the motel's second-floor balcony. King died at St. Joseph's Hospital at 7:05 p.m. According to biographer Taylor Branch, King's autopsy revealed that, though only 39 years old, he had the heart of a 60-year-old, which Branch attributed to the stress of 13 years in the civil rights movement. King was initially interred in Southview Cemetery in South Atlanta, but, in 1977, his remains were transferred to a tomb on the site of the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Park. Hundreds of streets in the U.S. have been renamed in his honor, and the most populous county in Washington state was rededicated for him. The Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., was dedicated in 2011.